I find shopping psychology incredibly fascinating, understanding the drivers behind why we buy. And I think that's why I'm so drawn to doing this series, essentially unpacking why I was influenced to buy these certain things, who influenced me, and whether the things were any good at all. Because I know that I'm not the only one who sees something on another person and then goes, I need to have that for myself. So we're gonna dive right into it as always. And everything I share will be linked down in the description, and like usual, I'll be sharing some styling ideas for each of these pieces too. So we're gonna start with the very first clothing item I have here, which is a sweater from The Gap. This is 100% cotton, and you've probably seen a lot of this online. It's essentially touted as an affordable alternative to the Rose Ophelia sweater, which I own. And I've actually done a full deep dive on that net, comparing the best affordable alternatives. And the conclusion I came to in that post, I will link it below, is that this is a great oversized sweater, but a dupe for the Ophelia it is not. And I do want to call out a little issue that I had with the quality of mine. This is definitely kind of a quality assurance issue. Mine arrived with a pull on the front. So other than that, absolutely perfect. But with cotton knits like that, that is something that is going to be a little bit of a risk. So you have to be mindful. I don't think that I would say that this feels delicate, but I am conscious of making sure that I'm not snagging it on anything. Also, I haven't washed mine yet, and I have had some people say there's got a bit crunchy after washing it, which sometimes can happen with cotton knits. I recommend steaming them to help relax the fibers. You'll have to bear with me on the lighting as it is incredibly cloudy today, so I think it's going to be a bit all over the place. So the next item on this list is a pair of trousers, and I have to say, when I saw these on the website, I scrolled past. I thought nothing of them. They didn't compel me. They didn't jump out at me and excite me at all. It wasn't until I saw them on Frederica that I thought, maybe I need to give these trousers a second look. Frederica is Swedish, and I think she's based in Queensland, and everything she wears just looks incredible on her. She's really quite grounded in what her style is, though I do think she could probably make a garbage bag look absolutely incredible. Everything looks great on her, basically. And I've been really, really happy with this buy. I got lucky with the timing of my purchase, so I managed to actually get them on sale, which is always a nice little bonus when you're checking out. They are synthetic, and I will say I do really try to buy more natural fiber things, though I'm not a purist by any means, and the edit of items I have here I think is incredibly reflective of that. Though I will say, I mean, it's not the nicest feeling polyester trouser I own or have ever kind of touched, but it does not feel offensive to me. I'm very particular about the fabrics that I wear, and if I don't like how it feels, it's going to be staying in my wardrobe, or at the very least in the shops. And I have to say, I really like this shade of charcoal grey. I think it's a great neutral, and if you don't already have something in this color, it's an excellent alternative to black, especially if you find black a little bit too high contrast, even just nearer the face, you know. So I think that's one of the reasons why I find it very effortless to style back. I took these with me to Tasmania, and they were just a brilliant piece to have in my wardrobe. The fact that they're wider through the leg means you can layer heat tech or, you know, thermal leggings underneath if you needed to. And I really like the idea of pairing this for a more spring summer look with this charcoal grey tank that I have from Demi Lee. I just think they almost match perfectly. So that was a good one. And I will be sure to link the Substack of our trip to Tasmania down below, because I shared my packing list. I did the Sudoku packing method and also everything that we did, which actually that just got me thinking about the accessories that I took on that trip. And probably one of the best accessories I've added to my wardrobe this year has been this brushed cashmere scarf from COS. I saw this on Mimi. She's a New York based, very minimal sort of influencer content creator. And I immediately thought, when that comes out in Australia, I am going to be adding it to cart. I will admit it does get a little bit itchy, especially around my neck, but I wear this so many ways. I wear it just draped around the back of my neck, kind of like a shawl, adding a bit of warmth. I wear it like bandana style, so you have that triangular effect, and then knotted in the front. I've styled it as a bonnet. It's rained a lot in Sydney recently, and I've also worn it around the waist. I just think really versatile, lots of styling options, and I like that you have that really, really visible visual texture to the piece as well. So that one has been great, and for those of you who are down under, hopefully still in stock. So next one here is this top from Harris Tapper, and I really wanted to talk about this because every time I wear something from Harris Tapper, I always get a lot of questions. And this is probably one of their more iconic designs. It's the Chamberlain top. It's in a nylon, so as I was saying, I'm not a purist. Has this crossover detail and then a cinch at the waist, which gives it a little bit of a peplum hem, and we're seeing peplums a lot everywhere. I've had this for, I want to say maybe a 1.5 to 2 years at this point. And what drew me to it in the first place was the fact that it is a nylon and so very, very easy to care for. I can just throw it in the washing machine. I have to be really mindful about what I do bring into my wardrobe or when I wear it, because my daughter has decided that my clothing are the perfect thing to wipe her face on after she's finished eating. So I'm constantly trying to remove stains from my clothing. So things that are easy to care for, that's kind of my top priority when I am adding anything new into my wardrobe or just building an outfit. So the person who influenced me to buy this was Sarah Donaldson, and so she's an Australian-based influencer, and she used to have a retail store called The Undone, though now she's sort of shifted back into content creation due to changes in the retail landscape. And I feel like she originally had this as a stock item on her retail store. I didn't buy it from there just as it would sell out immediately in all sizes. I got mine via The Iconic, if memory serves, and I feel like I managed to get it on sale. I do really like this top, but I have to say I find it a little bit challenging to style sometimes, and I think a big part of that for me is the color, because I don't necessarily love how this looks with white. It sometimes makes the top look a little bit too yellow, and I feel like I would have been better served having gotten this in black, as I would have worn that a lot more. And I'm hesitant to dye it because I recently learned that a lot of brands don't use cotton thread, as I would have assumed, but actually it's maybe a cotton thread that is coated in poly. And I also learned that polyester thread does not hold dye very well. So often what can happen is you end up with a contrast stitch detail that maybe you didn't want. Not ideal. And look, I have done very minimal research into this, but I understand it's quite common, and a lot of it has to do with durability. Cotton and silk thread are a lot more delicate and so prone to snapping, and that means that your clothing requires more constant care. And ironically, we tend to associate high quality with something that is durable. While the two can be aligned, often really high quality fabrics are a little bit more on the delicate side of things. Anyway, all of this is to say, I wish that I'd gotten it in black. I just think that that would have been a better option for me. And there you go, a little bit of fashion knowledge for your day. As many of you will know, Tibi is probably one of my favorite brands. The skirt I'm wearing today is from Tibi, and I have a couple of things here on my rail which are from them as well. This next one is unfortunately a bit of a fail, and I'm really sad because I coveted it for the longest time. So I feel like there are maybe 2 tells for this, and I'll go into that detail, but Style by Sally, who is a Melbourne-based stylist who, if you aren't following her, I highly recommend doing so. She is one of those people who can pull off almost anything with aplomb. You know, she has a really fun, eclectic style, but then can also pull off more minimal silhouettes as well. She has this set and has styled it so many different ways, and I could truly appreciate and see the value that these might add to my wardrobe. But a couple problems. So the blazer is the Liam, and this is probably Tibi's most popular style of blazer. It's very, very oversized, and I already have it in a taupe color, and I will admit I do not wear it enough, especially for the price that I paid. So that kind of makes me a bit sad to know it sort of languishes in my wardrobe. So to add another one into my closet in a sort of heavier weight fabric, probably not the wisest choice. And this is a small, and it's very, very big. You'll see in the cutaways. I think an extra small actually would have been better. The second thing is also the print. Now, houndstooth like this, it kind of feels very collegiate and preppy in a way that, I mean, this is very much a Clueless suit, don't you think? I could really see Cher Horowitz wearing this. Sort of a little slide, you know, picking an outfit. So that feels very, very specific to me, and I guess it needs to be tempered with styling that is on the more modern or relaxed end of the spectrum for this to really work. And I'm not really someone who loves to wear a sneaker that often. Occasionally I will, but I prefer a more polished shoe. This is such a specific me thing. And so I guess I just feel it comes off too preppy, too refined for it to really work realistically in my wardrobe. And I guess part of that was me shopping for this fantasy of what I thought this would be in my closet, what I thought it would do. So I'm a bit sad as I have been searching for this for years, and the fact that I finally just went ahead and took the plunge to order it. I wasn't really sure on the skirt sizing, and that was what made me hesitate for so long. The fact that I finally went ahead, took the plunge, and then it ended up being a fail. It's always disappointing, but alas, you live and you learn, and it's a really, really cool, fun suit. I just think I would have been better off admiring it on Sally rather than adding it to my own wardrobe. Oh, and also just to add, the quality, of course, very nice, but it was a styling issue for me. Right, moving on to one that is 100% worth the hype, and I saw so many people talking about them, I had to add them to my own wardrobe, the Lululemon daydrift pants. Now, I will say that if you are someone who is a bit more conscious about your tummy, you may not love these as they are elasticated and it's a really soft drapey fabric. You want a fabric that is a little bit more structured and also flat in the front, as pleats can accentuate any curves. But that aside, these are just the best pants, the best lounge pants masquerading as tailored trousers. I mean, if you want to gaslight your colleagues, you need to wear these. You need them in your wardrobe. I have them in two colors now. So this lovely soft ecru, and then I also have the black and white pinstripe. And a word of warning, do not ever be tempted to use an iron on these. I actually accidentally ironed mine in New Zealand and I burned a hole in the fabric. I hadn't bothered to check the product information and the guidelines. Steaming only, otherwise you'll end up having to get another pair like I did. But they're great. Also, the sizing is on the smaller side. So I have my other pair in a extra small, which is the 4 on the website. These I got in the small, which is the 6 on the website, and they fit a lot more comfortably at the waist. All right, let's do an accessory next, and I want to talk about the Lemaire croissant bag, which I've had for quite a few years at this point. I was influenced to buy this after seeing it on Jess Elitzi, who I went to Dallas with in 2022, and that was just such a fun trip. I have really great memories of that time there with her. And she just wore this bag with such aplomb. Like, I could really see it being an easy piece in my wardrobe, hands-free. I love the novelty of the design being drawn from an actual croissant as well. I just think that's really, really fun. I quite like whimsical touches in the items that I'm adding into my wardrobe. And I have to say, the quality of this is phenomenal. The leather is so buttery and smooth and soft. All of the stitching, I mean, it is absolutely immaculate. The zipper is really, really smooth. It also has this really nice puffy little pull tab for the zipper as well, which I like. But here is my complaint. It's a small size, and I feel like when you open it up, it opens up the entire bag, and because it is not very deep, means that you're sort of at risk of everything falling out. So that is the first thing. And also, it really needs to be stuffed full in order to look good. And I just think it was maybe the wrong size for me. I think a larger size would have worked better for my lifestyle, but this, I am never inclined to reach for it. And it's a shame really, because it is such a beautiful bag. So sadly, this is actually another one that I'm considering letting go of. Storage is very much at a premium in our house, and so I always have to be mindful of what I am keeping in my closet. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a beautiful bag and I absolutely understand the hype, but I just think, again, probably just a wrong size issue. And this is kind of where I think I fall prey, especially when shopping online. Something comes, the excitement of the moment makes you want to keep it, and then enough time's passed or you've used it, you can't return it and you realize, oh, actually, maybe it wasn't right for me. I have another Tibi patches here. I have not worn this one either, but it's just more for a different reason. It's because it's a bit cold. This is the sheer ribbon skirt from Tibi, which I bought from their sale. I actually got a US size 4 in this because I was reading in the Facebook group that the style ran small, and I'm so glad that I did because it fits perfectly. This does have a sheer quality to it, but if you're wearing a nude, skin-toned underwear, you can't notice. But I'd been so hesitant to buy this because I was worried that that was going to be a big problem. Now, I actually originally wanted the black version, which I saw on the website, and I wanted to buy it of my own accord. But it was after seeing Asta, who she's Senior Director of Design, I believe it is, at Google. She shares a lot on color theory, design theory on Substack, and also on her Instagram, and a lot about female empowerment as well. So really great messages in what she is sharing. I also just love what she says at the end of her videos. I just think it's very, very sassy. Anyway, she has this in the pink, and I saw it on her and I thought, actually, I really, really like that. I'm not much of a pink girl, but this absolutely could get on board with. Yes, It makes noise, but I find when you're wearing a pant or a bottom like this, because I've got the Winslows as well and the crispy nylon, you don't really notice it when you're wearing it. But yeah, this beautiful little ribbon effect on the side, I think is just so very fun. Okay, a UNIQLO favorite, which I feel like so many people mentioned, even my friend Helen, I've seen her talk about this, the mini tee is brilliant. I am currently reviewing this as part of my deep dive on the Humble t-shirt, so you'll be getting a lot more on this tee and a bunch of others on my Substack very soon. Well, actually it'll probably be a couple of months because I need to thoroughly test all of these t-shirts a few times before I share my final thoughts, but it will be in there for those who are kind of waiting. I did size up in this. I found the small a little bit too small, and I kind of wanted it to have more of a relaxed 90s feel. I just think the cut is really good. It looks great with something that is more of a mid-rise on me. If you have a shorter torso, then that could be a low-rise on you. But I really like wearing this with bottoms where it just kisses the waistband. And UNIQLO pricing is always excellent. I think that this one, it was either $19.95 or $29.95 Australian dollars. So excellent pricing for a cotton tee. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, and I really don't think you can go wrong. Very, very low risk, and it comes in lots of really fun colors too. Next we have the Essen foundation flats, and these I featured in my deep dive on the ballerina, and again I will link that one down below. I was inspired to go for the silver after seeing them on my friend Rose, who's the creative plasticist over on Instagram. And I'm so glad I went with the silver. It's a really nice shade of silver. It's quite sort of neutral. It doesn't read as too cool toned, and it's surprisingly versatile as well. The thing that really impressed me about Essen is I was actually chatting with their team via DM on Instagram, and they were saying that before you place an order, if you have specific needs or requirements for your shoes, they make them all to order. So you can request for the sole to be slightly wider, or if you have a high instep, they can cater for that as well. And I just think that that is a level of detail and also customer care that you don't get at much larger brands where they are producing to scale. So that's really, really cool, and a great reason to actually just look at Essen as a brand in general, because they've got quite a lot of shoes. And it does make me think maybe I should get their little dainty strappy sandals and see if they can accommodate my wider feet for that style, because I've been eyeing them up for so long, and it's really difficult to find a dainty strappy sandal that has a wide enough footbed if you've got wide feet or bunions. I mean, I know many of you can relate. Anyway, they are really, really comfortable. I will say, because I didn't make any adjustments for wide feet or for my instep, that I do get a bit of pressure just here at the top of the foot when I'm wearing them. I have, I would say, sort of an average to high instep personally. I did size up a full size as well to accommodate my wider foot, which was a brilliant move. So that's also another option if you can't be bothered faffing around with customer service. But they are brilliant, and as you can see, they're wearing in really well too. So cannot recommend enough. The final clothing item that I wanted to highlight is a pair of jeans from DISSH. These are the Reagan jeans, and this is 2.0, so the second iteration of this style. Now, I originally saw these on, is her name Prudence or Paige? I think it's Prudence. She works at DISSH, and she is an excellent brand ambassador, and she looks great in everything. And I originally saw her wearing the faded black version, I believe it was, or maybe the dark indigo. And I ordered them back then, but I got my usual size, and they were just a bit too slouchy. This time I sized down to the 6, and they are a great fit. I've got that slouch through the leg, but they're really nice and fitted around the waist, which is the look that I personally like. The denim is really good too. It's nice and robust. It's 100% cotton, and just feels really good against the skin. So this has been a great little addition. And how good is this beige? I think it's really fun. As you can tell, I'm really sort of building out my wardrobe color palette. So that was another 10 items that I was influenced to buy, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, this little ramble as I talked through why I bought each thing and what it is that I actually think about them, if they were any good or not. And I feel like with these items, my real failings were size and also color rather than anything else, which I feel is not the worst place to be in, because you're essentially buying the right things, but there's just some minor little tweaks that would make it actually work for you. And sometimes just identifying that very thing and knowing, okay, okay. I have to be really conscious about this moving forward. It can be what actually saves you from making more wardrobe mistakes in the future. But I hope that you enjoyed, and thank you so much for spending some of your day with me. If you are new here and you love this video, you want to see more, you like brand reviews, style advice, and how to make the most out of your wardrobe, then please do subscribe. I would love to have you back, and I will see you guys next week with a brand new one. See you very soon. Bye.